Man, I already knew this film was about to be on some nonsense the moment it opened on Piccolo screaming in Random Wasteland 3 like this. After making the whole theater uncomfortable, Green proceeds to get packed up by Super Smash Bros. Locked characters. When our view cuts to Kami talking about some damn, Goku really oofed my twin out here. Knowing damn well if Piccolo was really snuffed, he'd be sitting right in that Nissan Altima going to Yima's with him. We then head to the woods, and as big fella Ox King prepares to drop off some of Roshi's extra reading materials to Gohan, he gets slept by Cyberman's big brother. Chi-Chi stances up ready to put the whole city on her back, but it's no match after they start cheating and busting out ki powers. Goku was somewhere in Lake Minnetonka skinny dipping. Spidey senses went off that somebody was clapping his wife's cheeks that weren't him. And when he arrives, rather than comforting her, he starts yelling in this woman's face, talking about, "Where did you put my son? Big fella, calm it down. Your girl over here on a ventilator. You're out here pressing her like a 90s mob boss yoking up an underling who forgot to bring back his cut." We learn Gohan has been absconded to Dracula's castle, where fake Pilaf is out here ranting a damn near empty room, exhibiting inordinate amounts of scaring the hoe's energy. Gohan starts speaking on his pops, and the peanut gallery, unimpressed, starts talking about how they jumped Piccolo and he was softer than a mother's touch, so they ain't worried about his dad. And then Pilaf, smelling a bit of that dog present within the child, decides that rather than throwing him into a vegetable soup like he originally planned after getting that Dragon Ball for his wish, it may be better to get on his EDP time and then groom the little fella, because he's got a feeling there may be a point where he becomes the main character.
There's something you need to know.
Please.
I'm Chris Hansen.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Old boy with the crazy ass hairline who just stays eating and is supposed to be watching son Gohan is seconds away from catching corrupting a minor charges, getting Gohan drunk off of Seagram's infused candy apple. They had this fella's son Gohan bugging, boy, absolutely perked out. Had him running around like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. Whole time he's hallucinating seeing LGBTQ positive dinosaurs, and I'm not sure exactly what that says about Gohan, but ball up top. Y'all know this mad early in the series too, because Goku still got that extendo and King Kunta on him as he heads to the palace to bash the ops' heads in. Fake Pilaf actually manages to get his rocks off though, summoning Shenlong, who grants him eternal life. The moment he transforms, Buddy starts immediately going sicko mode, summoning the forces of hell to rampage across the earth to enjoy all manners of John Moran adjacent activities. Man, I don't even know where this came from, bro. How does Buddy even have this power? But Goku hops 10 toes down, hitting the peanut gallery with the craziest mean mug, and was ready to start handing out colonoscopy checks ASAP when Kami teleports in. Goku was about to blam off on him too, telling him this ain't his scrap, but old Kami told him to shut his monkey ass up so he could give the lore dump and provide some context for the scrap that was about to take place. Apparently, Kami and Garlic Sr. were out here competing for the throne of who would be the Earth's throat goat. Garlic had that limitless throat.
That I got limitless throat.
But Kami had that blessed throat and won out. Salty he lost, Garlic Jr. lashed out and was banished to the Shadow Realm and vowed that the curse of his throat would be unleashed in 300 years, setting us up for where we're at today. Not one for the talking, Goku zooms past Junior and heads into the internal chamber where he's sure his son's waiting for him. But instead he finds the peanut gallery, Ginger, Nino Brown, and Tutti Frutti, who after a brief introduction, say their code words and get activated like Winter Soldier, hawking out and zooming in for a 3-on-1 so they can do Goku absolutely insane like we saw Big Green getting touched in the intro. And y'all already know this the best part of DBZ movies, the fight scenes. Lord have mercy, just look what happens when they give these fellas in the studio a budget. Just a thing of beauty. The action has such a crazy sense of speed and weight that weirdly feels like it's missing in the latter parts of DBZ. When Goku's blocking some of these hits, I damn near started holding my own wrist from the shots he was taking. But Goku been getting jumped his whole life, so he knows how to deal with this strat. Homie takes to the skies and his Bell Biv DeVoe try putting him to sleep. He gives him that Draymond Green treatment and sends them all crashing back to Earth, demanding one of their jobbing asses tell him where they took his boy. Not giving up, Jake and Maggie Gyllenhaal hop back into the sky and try to smoke some with a key blast to the rear, but the beams are deflected. And as the camera pans, our eyes are treated to a glorious ball silhouette. None other than Big Krill had arrived at Raccoon City Mansion to provide some backup for the big homie. Bro, when's the last time we seen Krill get his flowers like this? Shout outs to the film showing that bald simping ass cop some love. But that's not all. From the darkness looking ready to cut the craziest WWE promo emerges none other than my junior. The Job Squad had me so weak too. Because when they saw Green traversing them steps, they were like, hey, we put you in that Garlic Jr. pack about 20 minutes ago. Ain't no way your trifling Verde ass should be standing up talking this spicy. Don't get the wrong idea, Goku. I could care less about you and your little bald butt buddy right now. I just got beef with them 3 ugly ass boys in front of you and need to get my lick back or I won't be able to sleep at night. But the chaos continues, because right after my junior drops his promo, I had to figure out what in the name of R. Kelly was going on, as son Gohan was just chilling from the rafters, taking one of those super long, I can't believe how hungover I am right now type leaks. But on Comedy's Green Earth, Krillin, after you felt your bald ass scalp getting wet up like that, what possessed you to look in the direction of the piss and open your mouth? Oh, freaky ass boy, I swear. Lord knows what kind of trifling antics he's been learning on OVO Island out there with Roshi. One of the most insane parts of the whole thing for me, though, was watching Kami get duffed out by Junior. Seeing Kami square up, first of all, was already crazy work. But the way Garlic Jr. was duffing this old man against the wall was heresy. Animators couldn't even show us the punches, bro. All we were privy to were the mortar shells firing off and the wall cracking as Kami's chest cavity got pushed into his obliques before the scene had to go back to Goku and company. Krill ran up top to ask Gohan if he had any more of that Henny left when he was stopped by Joe Jackson, who was standing at attention ready to ruin his day. Piccolo had other plans though, and after bringing that boy a forcible invitation to the floor below, began stomping his cranium in with the force of 1,000 sexually frustrated Namecs, making sure to let him know just how crazy he looks now that his ability to run ganks is timed out. I can't lie, this scrap definitely didn't go as anticipated. I was fully ready for Piccolo to come in, talk crazy, and get put in a wash cycle right along with his cape, because that's how the movies have a tendency to do Big Green when he shows up. But this was nothing less than a God's honest molly-whopping. Old henchman McDysoon got a flurry off that got weaved with hardly any effort. Then this man Piccolo takes a fat swig of spinach and proceeds to literally put this dude through a wall, shoots a half-hearted blast, and retires that man's jersey in seconds. Let me tell y'all, man, I miss classic Junior, but he did not play games whatsoever. Down below, Junior and Kami are still getting their licks in when out of nowhere, Big Green's twin gives us a glimpse of the ass pull we're going to see in about 3 decades when he goes golden Piccolo, which apparently has the power to give him a junior pink eye, leading their fight to ramp up a couple notches. Up top, Goku's getting ganks ran on him yet again, but worse than that, Chris and Liam Hemsworth have both decided to pull out some makeshift shivs and took the fight from a gentleman's fisticuffs affair straight to Rikers. Watching this battle was cool on a couple levels though. On one side, I always have a good time watching my man's Goku work his power pole. Major pause, my bad. But second, the choreography reminded me of something straight out of an old school Jackie Chan film with this mix of clear martial arts prowess along with the added humor of Goku's physical comedy coming from his body language and his facial expressions. You can big time see Dragon Ball wearing its influences on his shoulder here. It's a thing of beauty. And this fight is also a reminder of what kind of time Goku was on when he wasn't that far removed from his YN Goku days, because he loads up one of them OG Kamehamehas into the chamber and lets it fly, smoking both Larry and Mo at the same time, body bagging them without a second thought. And with the riffraff out the way, that just left Olive Garden to take care of. And right before Kami was finna go Voltorb on him for honestly no reason, because we know with that wish Junior ain't going nowhere, Piccolo and Goku roll up just in time and decide it's their turn to run a 2-on-1. In real life though, it don't even matter, because Garlic Bread takes that super soldier serum and the fight immediately goes from easy buckets to Brock Lesnar putting on an exhibition at your local youth karate dojo. As we come to expect though, Goku and Green out here sandbagging the whole time, even in the face of an immortal demon who promised he was going to groom his son and eat on the rest of them like the ribs at TGI Fridays. They throw off their weighted training gear, and I actually low-key got upset at how quickly they cooked this man up after that. Both got some licks in and then finished it off with an off-brand key blast. All this rigmarole and Buddy couldn't even get put down with a named attack. But y'all already know the bull didn't end there, because this man Junior said, nah, I still needs mines, and told Goku to square up seconds after working with him and picking the garlic out their teeth. And right before the two of them could put the early DBZ tier list to rest, Garlic reemerges and activates the dead zone.
Roll credits.
An endless void of eternal nothingness where life and creativity go to die, so basically Ohio. And as the entire cast do their best to hold on for dear life, it's none other than emotionally dysregulated Gohan who emerges as the savior. Gohan appears to be the only creature who's able to stand 10 toes in the face of the dead zone, and as Garlic Jr. pours all his energy into sucking up the remainder of the cast, Gohan lets out a key explosion that causes Garlic to lose his footing, and he is hoisted by his own petard, becoming a victim of the dead zone himself, forced to live eternally roaming Walmart and occasional trips to Applebee's as he rots away the rest of his days. And with the day saved, Goku and Piccolo save their non-canon rematch for later, as Goku takes his boy home and contemplates what lie to tell to Chi-Chi so they can both avoid the all-too-common lecture about hearing how much of a bum he is while he contemplates how severe of a bag he fumbled, letting Yamcha of all people win the Bulma Bowl. And that, homies, is DBZ Dead Zone. Big appreciation to all the homies at home, and let me know in the comments if y'all like the DBZ movie content or want to see more. Be easy, and catch y'all again in the next video. Moments after the credits roll, you already know this movie about to be some gas when 2 minutes in, we get none other than the Crown Prince of Aura Farm and King Piccolo trying to find the nastiest photo shoot possible after doing Pilates on Mount Kilimanjaro.
Piccolo?
What are you supposed to be?
I'm everything you fear.
Stop it, you're scaring me.
Let go of me!
Gladly.
Piccolo!
Hey, what's up?
As Big Green is doing his damnedest to curate the nastiest Instagram of all time, we see the nightmare blunt rotation of Gohan and Oolong investigating rumors that Dragon Ball activity is happening in the mountains. Gohan was out playing hooky to get a brief break from his tiger mom, while Oolong was proving that bad habits die hard. Man had been having nocturnal omissions about a pair of women's undergarments that dropped from the heavens back in his glory days of Dragon Ball, and decided that since it's been a decade, he still ain't getting no types of play from the women folk, it was time to run that back. And while they're scaling the mountaintop, the trip almost comes to an end when they discover that somehow the Dragon Balls have already been gathered together by someone else as the heavens part, and Shenlong makes his dramatic ass entrance to the glacial bowl to fulfill the wishes of a mysterious third party. Crypt Keeper, with his finest remaining tooth dangling in the wind, wishes upon the almighty dragon to resurrect Dr. Wheelo from his icy prison, so he yet again grace the earth with his intellectual magnificence, and the good doctor can resume glazing him like the full-time pastry chef at Tim Hortons he is. Long declares the wish light work, and seconds later a Doug Dimmadome emerges from the ice and sets the stage for the rigmarole that will be Dragon Ball Z, the world's strongest. After our intro montage, we return to Oolong and Gohan getting pressed by a discount Cyberman. Gohan walks up to try to get his porky pal out of the line of fire, only to find the screws getting put to him as three of the Cyber Bros' cousins manifest out of nowhere, and they start just taking the stuffing out of little bro. I mean, no words exchanged. These fellas had less screen time than Shanks from One Piece before they started dismantling my goat like they were recreating the Fight Back meme. But right as Buddy was about to hang up the gloves on that dream of being a scholar as he slowly felt the CTE slipping in, a big veiny green hand intrudes from off screen to put a stop to the nonsense. Y'all know the vibes. Everybody's favorite green step pops walked up to the plate to go to bat for his son. And what got me was the way mans like Piccolo dragged the little alien fellow through the snow as he asked his son why he pulled up in the middle of his photo shoot. The Jabberwockies attempt to jump green, but he beats him off low diff, no did he, and ends the session with one of those nasty ass mouth beams we ain't seen regularly since like the Saiyan Saga, so that already tells you where this takes place on the non-canon timeline. As Gohan drifts off into a head trauma-induced power nap, Piccolo senses a disturbance in the force of three malicious presences around him, but it's too late, cause shortly after he caught wind, he got smoked by the rowdy rough boys. As Oolong and Gohan found themselves waking up at the bottom of a ravine next to the scene of the ass whooping. Gohan expresses his excitement over his step pops coming to rescue him as Oolong does his best to tame his trauma response related to him Jr. and all the emotional baggage he's built up around him over the years. As Gohan thinks about returning home as well as the whereabouts of Big Green, Oolong reaches into his groomer bag yet again and reminds Gohan that their little trip to the Andes has to remain a secret between men, because if Bulma and Kami forbid Chi-Chi found out he stole the radar and took Goku's son out in a panty raid, he might get put out the pasture for real this time. So Gohan heads home and the film treats us to an absolute banger that gets done wild dirty in the English cut. In the Japanese dub of World's Strongest, we get a quick minute or so long freestyle of son Gohan complaining about his mom having a louder voice box than Sindel from Mortal Kombat, while he likens thinking of his homeboy Piccolo to eating a refreshing afternoon snack. All the AO aside, it's just a cute little music number of the homie Gohan, expressing how much he loves the step pops and does a neat job of building character and showing the relationship between the youngins that grew up together rather than just dropping straight dialogue on the audience's dome. The English version is crazy random though, because as we watch Gohan get impressed by his mom to study as he zones off in an anxiety-induced trance, there are no Gohan vocals, only this random instrumental with zero context that seems super out of place without little man yelling his pipes out about how much he loves his pops. As Chi-Chi convinces herself that Gohan will inevitably become a D1 crash out after falling asleep doing his assignments one time, our attention moves to OVO Island where some uninvited visitors are beginning to get extra pushy. The Cybers hit the ground and immediately start pressing my man's Turtle for the location of Roshi, letting him know that they know Roshi's the plug and they have business immediately. Right as Turtle starts to panic and weakly lies through his teeth that they only got some weak-ass Reggie left on the island, Roshi emerges from his home to inquire about the ruckus. My question though is just what kind of diabolical work you gotta be dropping in the bathroom that leads to a black smoke cloud being visible from your own house? Buddy invented a whole new type of diarrhea. They're gonna be studying Roshi's gastrointestinal system in Area 51 once he finally kicked the bucket. Even the discount cybers that showed up at his front door were scratching their head when OVO Roshi emerged from his fart gas coma. Wheelo's henchmen, henceforth known as Hot Wheels, commanded Roshi to come back to the good doctor's bachelor pad, which he politely declined and proceeded to turn his back on his unpleasant company because he had magazines to read. The Hot Wheels weren't liking that response though and intended to give Roshi that Gohan treatment. What they didn't realize though is that Roshi really be doing it out here and proceeded to one-hit KO the entire squad and ended the last cyber with a nasty little scorpion kick just to solidify his place in the Aura Farm Hall of Fame as well. This movie actually had Roshi looking kind of clean and I ain't mad at it. Buddy is a grade A goon lord, but the fit is immaculate, and this is one of the few times outside of Dragon Ball where it feels like the old man is getting his flowers for being one of the nastiest martial artists to ever do it. The Crypt Keeper emerges out of nowhere, commenting on how this display is exactly what was expected out of the world's strongest, and his company is once again being requested at the Diddy party.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Or else they may have to get a little wild with the young pretty thing he's got yoked up next to the door at the house. As foul as he can be, Roshio doesn't want to see Bulma harmed and agrees to make the trip to Wheelo's. And if y'all ever had any illusions on how country Goku's bum ass is, please see this exhibit of the big homie washing up in a tin barrel over some hot coals and never disrespect this game again. Oolong comes clean about the mess he and Gohan got into after what happened at Roshi's place, pressing the Goku button so the big homie can run out and do what he does best. Chi-Chi starts pressing Gohan for hanging out with that N-word Piccolo. I'm in Namek, you weirdos. But Goku tells her they got less than zero time right now for her to be going grade ape on Gohan, and he needs to skedaddle immediately, get on the Kento-Un to back up his master and see what's going on with his day one Bulma. Back on Wheelo's island, they're putting Roshi to the gauntlet, still refusing to let them know what their motives are. And as usual, this is where the movie really begins to shine. I genuinely love this fight with Roshi versus Larry, Moe, and Curly. It's short, but not only is the animation quality on point, the room is pitch black with this kind of eerie red and pink glow on the outer rim that gives this kind of suffocating spotlight on Roshi that makes you feel just as uncomfortable as Roshi's gotta be feeling, being forced to fight for his life for some still unknown reason by creatures that look like they don't even belong on this planet. Roshi was actually cooking up too, until he threw out his signature and Dave Blunt's absorbed and reflected it, and then while he was still registering what happened, he got smoked in the 3-on-1 and was down for the count. They really had Roshi out here looking like a support in a Marvel Rivals pub server the way he was getting melted in the back line. Our view then returns to Bulma, who provides us with a lore dump on what's really going on. Dr. Cochin and Wheelo were a scientist duo ostracized by the community at large for their experiments considered to be a crime against humanity. Story said that both of them dropped dead 50 years ago while conducting experiments in these very mountains after a sudden weather shift. Dr. Cochin laughs this off though, saying that they very much made it and turns the lights on the man of the hour, Dr. Wheelo. A disembodied brain in a jar looking like he came straight out of a Billy and Mandy episode. The doctor's motive is simple, to place his big sexy brain in the body of the strongest human in the world and make the earth pay for ever denying his genius. As he was talking about this though, I really had to wonder about the logistics, because how the hell he intend to fit all that gray matter into a regular human skull is beyond me. They're gonna have to pull a Mojo Jojo situation or something to have that brain coming out like a Pez dispenser, because nobody's cranium out here is ready to house all that. Bulma lets the duo know though that their info is 50 years out of date. It's true Lieutenant Roshi was once the top dog, but the tier list has been shaken up and now it's their homie Goku that's the real threat, and they wouldn't stand a snowball's chance even if they all jumped him at once. Feeling threatened with a good time, Wheelo agreed to take the bet as he sensed the high energy signature, and his 5-digit IQ let him know that this must be Goku. Sun drops down from his cloud and is immediately greeted by Super Saiyan Dave Blunt. Goku spends most of his time on the defensive, not because big fella's actually that nice with it, but because homie's Dragon Balls are shriveling up to pea-size with how cold it is on this damn mountain. So man's like Goku action comedies his way into Wheelo's lair. And real quick, I gotta comment once again on the major Jackie Chan vibes a lot of these early DBZ movies have that I mess with so heavily. The choreography is top notch while at the same time being mixed with a sense of humor that creates a unique feel that you just don't get from a lot of action scenes anymore. Goku makes it inside, and after dodging enough of the obstacle in Wily's lab, he had enough of playing Mega Man and got on his Vegeta timing and smoked everything in a 20-foot radius to end the charade. When Zion showed back up and started acting crazy, Goku decided the only way out was in, powering up with his Kaioken and blowing a hole through Buddy's midsection as he slowly flopped back to Earth like it was Paper Mario, and Goku made his way to the next level. And bruh, the way Goku put Pinky to sleep with a single elbow to the nose the moment he got froggy needs to be studied. And everyone is disrespect timing when he knows he's better. Goku little bodied the dude, telling him he's too small, while he just sat there in the post looking at each other crazy for a minute. That's when Pinky's mans dropped in and decided that 2 is always better than 1, dodging Goku's attacks while him and his buddy worked to figure out exactly how they wanted to spit roast this fella. Quick shout out to this animation of Goku's hands flowing like water as he stances up getting ready to get rushed. It's that kind of stuff that makes the movie so good, man. Bruh, I said it once and I'll say it again. Bring martial arts back to DBZ. I don't even care if we keep all the colored hair. Just give me the hands again with each of the fighters being unique and bringing something new to the table, and that's all I'm looking for. And speaking of bringing something to the table, once it was 2-on-1, these fellas started treating Goku like free eats, just molly-whopping the young man like it was low diff. My favorite was the little ring around the rosy move Green Man did straight in the pink fella's knee before they set my goat flying. What they didn't anticipate though was just how much of a real crash out this fella Goku is. That combo they just did would have put any normal human to sleep. But all that junk did was piss Goku off, and he came charging right back like his name was I Show Speed running sprints, and I damn near died laughing at the look of surprise on Green Dude's face when he saw Goku charging directly at him after getting turned into a crash dummy just a few seconds before. But that would be the least of his worries, because for whatever reason, Buddy's vanishing powers picked the absolute worst time to kick off, and Goku gave him the wildest clothesline from hell I've ever seen in my life. Junk would have made George Pickens proud, while delivering one of those scorpion kicks directly out of Roshi's bag to Pinky. Goku bum rushes in yet again and starts dog walking both of these fellas until the Green Man leaves Pinky for dead and hits Goku with a whip to the back to immobilize him. That's when Big Fella decides that we need to put this fella on ice ASAP because Dr. Wheelo's health insurance ain't hitting nowhere close to what I need to fight the CTE this fella is delivering, and proceed to go Sub-Zero on Goku to stop the abuse. And right before Pinky, aka Ebby Freya, could commit to the fatality, Gohan and Krillin take a page out of my Junior's playbook and make a grand entrance to help Kakarot. But just like every scene with Krillin and Gohan, the glory can only last so long, because in seconds the two immediately jobbed Frogger's electric whip, and now all 3 of them out here looking crazy and getting their toast buttered. Real quick, I gotta comment on that cursed, wide mouth, unhinged jaw thing that happens every time a character gets yoked up by that lightning whip. For the life of me, I could not find the artist responsible, but we have seen that unhinged jaw scream happen throughout Z. In particular, that one that sticks out in my mind is when Goku is getting that gorilla grip from Vegeta before the war on Namek happened. Back to the movie though, Goku decides that he's waited long enough to get back in his hero bag, hits a Kaioken for the one time, and duffs Ebby so hard his stepbrother Raccoon will receive some of the brain damage, and gives Little Green the Nappa special, complete with carrying him under his arm like a gym duffel bag after the deed was done. Goku gets his little homies off the rocks and they proceed into the internal chamber to get Roshi and Bulma. Stuck behind an energy field, the good doctor takes the moment of Goku's disorientation to his advantage, chaining him up in a barrier himself to prepare his body for the prequel to Jordan Peele's Get Out. As Wheelo primes his neurons for the new body, it's revealed that Piccolo has been made into the doctor's new boy toy, with the Crypt Keeper using his vast powers of science to control the evil in Piccolo's heart and make him do his bidding. Man, they was really out here with the prototype Majin transformation. That's kind of wild. Goku breaks out just in time, because Gohan quickly learns that this ain't the stepdaddy you take home to mom when Piccolo slaps the taste out of his mouth while Golden Brain and Goku get the boxing. Here we get another mouth-watering display of animation as the back and forth between Goku and Piccolo happen, while Gohan mourns the fact that he has to watch both of his daddies beat the senzus out of each other as he stands there helpless. Apparently something about Gohan's screechy ass voice is sending possessed Green up a wall, because mid-scrap with his daddy, he turns to Gohan and readies to put him in a pack. Then Goku catches the play just in time and launches the energy away before my Junior could change the timeline, and had Chi-Chi going praying mantis on Goku when he walked through that door with only Gohan's size 4 paper bag 11s, saying my bad, I let him play with Piccolo again. Unable to manage his emotions any longer, the angry Gohan buff activates and energy is sent coursing through the entirety of Wheelo's lair. Wheelo, whose IQ may actually live up to its name, tells the Crypt Keeper to keep his mouth closed, recognizing that something's off with this kid, and his strength seems directly connected to how many Dino Nuggies are stolen off his plate. Dr. Cochino was unable to help himself though, telling Gohan to shut his small ass up and go back home before he decides to go back with him and backshot his mom, since apparently his dad ain't doing it right. At this point, Gohan loses it, his energy sending ripples through the lair, severely damaging the control he has over Piccolo and the machinery keeping Bulma locked up. Krillin steps up to the doctor and demands he release Bulma. Cochino laughs though, letting Krillin know that while he may be out of time, he ain't out of options, and pulls out the extendo with the extended mag and starts spraying the whole place down. Deciding he won't be the only one crashing out, he points the blick at Bulma, but right before he lets one fly, OVO Roshi arrives from the heavens and dismantles the gun. It appears the day may finally be saved. Piccolo is out of Snow Bunny mind control, Roshi and Bulma are released and back on their feet, and the Crypt Keeper has been disarmed. But there's still one last order of business to be discussed, because Dr. Wheelo emerges from his gingerbread mold in the wall as a fully functional mobile suit and reminds everyone that he is the final boss. During his emergence, Olympic-level glazer Dr. Cochin gets wiped out as he falls through a bottomless pit in the mountains and gets zapped to death by the Doctor's aura, which probably ended up being the happiest moment of his life. I promise y'all, Dr. Cochin is the new face of glazers. The way he was doing tricks on Dr. Wheelo's pole should be studied in every strip club in America. Absolutely unbelievable work. As Wheelo presented himself as the final hurdle, the gang gets one of the absolutely wildest group photo ops of all time as they prepare to take on Mandark. Piccolo hops in first because he's butthurt he got caught lacking the way he did and was forced to put hands on his son. And it's the first to be met with the "oh shit, Wheelo got hands" realization. Wheelo really had the whole squad looking like an online match of Spark and Zero pre-patch. He tanked a full squad Kamehameha and was one shot in each member like it was the end of the month and rent was due. Gohan tried his best to embody the spirit of his pops, unveiling the power pole on his back only to get slapped low dip as Goku and Piccolo were left to clean up the scraps. You'll never see me complaining about a chance to watch adult Goku work his power pole. That's an absolutely wild sentence, I apologize. But even the combo of Big Green and Kakarot seemed to not be enough to put Wheelo down for good. Goku decided there was only one way out, so he pulled out his Trin pin and activated a Kaioken, putting Wheelo on his back with an insane display of power and finishing off the flurry with a Kamehameha for a clean sweep. Wheelo proved that he would not be going silently into that good night though, forcing Goku to turn up the noise on his Kaioken and sending him into space for the finish. Or so Krillin thought, but Wheelo was running off of no less than 16 honey packs and raw hatred of the human race, so his vengeance would not be denied. So it was time for his ultimate trump card. Blast Thickneck concluded that the only way out of this one was a spirit bomb, and he urged the rest of his homies to get to safety, cause this had the possibility to get real ugly. As Slate Slab Rock meditated and channeled the beauty and power of nature into his fist, Dr. Strange decided he would not be following the DBZ handbook and sent out a cascade of energy directly on Goku's location to stop any sort of comeback shenanigans. As Earth's greatest hope is getting lit up, the Peanut Gallery decides to embrace their non-canon movie buffs and fly into space to help out with the Wheelo fight. Gohan looks upon his stepdad with pride as he uses his hot-ass breath to explode Wheelo's fish tank and expose his brain in the vacuum of space. This doesn't stop Wheelo from disrespecting Krillin as much as possible though, giving him a solitary bitch slap across the face, reminding him that non-canon movie buff society still ass. Wheelo decides that it's time for him to cut out the middleman and sends a beam of apocalyptic energy straight to the Earth's surface to explode the planet from the outside, opting for speedrun tactics rather than savoring the moment. It's then revealed that Smoke Man Muscle is still alive with the Genki Dama intact. And as he cherishes and appreciates the warmth Mother Earth has lent him to defend its inhabitants, he takes aim and sends an absolute "da" up into the stratosphere, blowing directly through Wheelo's bad vibes beam and directly into the chest of Wheelo, ending the madness for good. Returning to the surface, the squad finds Goku struggling, but alive in the drifting snow and are thankful that their friend was once again able to save the Earth from its darkest hour. As Big Green prepares to head back to get on Pinterest for more aura farming ideas, he tells Goku his son did well, providing the kind of positive reinforcement you can only get from a strong African-American father figure. The movie ends with Roshi gassing himself up being called the world's strongest, only to have the team bring him back down to Earth and remind him of his status as the Earth's foremost gooner. The film ends as Goku and friends laugh in Roshi's face about the fact that he never has and never will get any bitches, and the screen fades to black and credits roll. Dragon Ball Z, The World's Strongest, is a time capsule of early DBZ, showcasing series blends of martial arts, sci-fi, and charm you can only find and get from the mind of the GOAT himself, Akira Toriyama. May he always rest in power. What do you think of The World's Strongest? Is it one of your favorites, or do you think it's overshadowed by some of the later movies? Let me know in the comments below, and also if you would like to see more movie coverage continue. Be easy, Dragon Squad, and I'll catch you again in the next video. Tree of Might starts out with the OG crew of Krillin, Bulma, and Oolong going out on a camping trip for the nostalgia. Old Baldy decided that now it looks like Yamcha completely fumbled the capsule court bag. He wanted to get Miss Briefs out in nature and show her that Kamehameha ain't the only thing the turtle hermit taught him. Before he can shoot his shot though, he forgot they invited Gohan, who pulls up in full safari gear with a backpack bigger than him, and the whole squad begins cooking him up immediately. Old Dora the Explorer looking boy, old first day of kindergarten looking boy, little fellow out here looking like he's playing Dwayne Johnson in Jumanji. After they got done frying him, he tells him about how his mom was bugging the moment she heard he wanted to go outside and do something that wasn't buying a number 2 pencil, and basically packed up their whole house in his book bag. While Gohan is taking a load off, our vision turns to an eerily familiar looking spaceship that crash lands to Earth and hits a forest. Sparks from the crash landing ignite the Earth around it, and to Smokey the Bear's dismay, our film begins with a forest fire of all things. The gang wakes up after getting a whiff of grilled salmon, only to find they're about to catch that Freddy Krueger treatment and need to think fast. So Krill takes a small child into the middle of the burning forest and gets into his Dragon Ball bag, trying to reenact what Roshi did on Fry Pan Mountain, and he and Gohan begin putting out the flames with the force of their ki. After much animal saving and sweat, the two are successful and are left to look upon the barren earth in utter disappointment. Krillin's booty call was quite literally cooked, and also not great was the loss of the home for the local wildlife, I guess. So the only thing left to do, the gang tries to re-up on their good karma and begin hunting for the Dragon Balls to restore the forest while the intro plays and gets us into the movie proper. After Krillin is done chopping it up with Tien and Chaozu in the montage, telling them about how he was ready to crash out after getting booty blocked by a forest fire, Shinron is summoning as impatient as ever. One of the Z homies mentioned this in the comments and they were super right. Cause why the hell is Shinron and all the other dragons so damn impatient every time they get called to do their damn job? Every time they have some absolutely crazy damn bitch here type energy, and it's so wild to me. Ain't nothing they're doing in that Pokeball that damn serious. Shenron was on one too because he was damn near ready to kill that little baby dragon who was defending his turf after he spawned in. Like, I've never seen Shenron actually ready to throw the ones before. That was so insane to me. Where was that energy for Beerus? But anyway, Gohan makes the wish and the forest is restored to its natural beauty. Meanwhile, a recon droid on the forest floor seems to be stalking the place out, and in the next frame we see that it's due to some Saiyan bench warmers looking upon the Earth who seem to be in the area to once again cook the ever-loving life out of Kakarot for not turning the Earth into a dust bowl like he was called to do 2 decades back. Some on the ship think Kakarot might already be cooked, but mysterious cloakman who appears to be the leader states it's an impossibility because Saiyans never die, and I know somewhere in the vast reaches of space, Frieza's watching Ginyu toot that thing up and giggling for no reason. Back on Earth, Goku is taking his patented film adaptation I'm a true hilljack tin drum bath while having a contest with his son to see who can drown who first. Chi-Chi gets crept up on by Kid Icarus. Gohan's new pet dragon is absolutely not happy. She takes her 2 fellas inside and begins going great ape on Gohan, shitting on him for hanging out with his dad's loser ass friends all the time and wanting to see him get rid of that wild animal with the quickness. Goku briefly tries to reason with his wife, but immediately gets cut off at the knees before keeping quiet and silently dreaming about how he's going to go Kaioken and put her through the headboard later. As Gohan walks outside to bid his pet farewell, Goku speaks up and takes his son and the dragon to a nearby cave hideout he made for Gohan's new friend. Our view then shifts to Yamcha flexing the bag to Par about how he's going to roll up with his new Lambo to the Brief's estate to win back Bulma, not realizing how cucked he already is. Then of course we have everybody's favorite Princess Queen, Big Green, meditating by a waterfall when he experiences a disturbance in the force and begins turning his attention to the wildlands nearby. It appears the rowdy rough boys whom were on the Saiyan vessel have made their way to Earth, and after hitting the ground with the Nappa Special and also thwarting Yamcha's attempt to flex in the process, one of the goons throws a seed to the ground which begins to grow rapidly, sending tendrils throughout the Earth's surface both above and below. Back at the Sun household, Yamcha is lamenting the fact that he just blew his whole stimulus check on that vehicle and is starting to get his guts rearranged by Bulma, who knows he only drained his bank account and got that dumbass car to chase tail, not knowing it was her tail that he was being sought after. Chi-Chi starts lighting Yamcha's ass up too, telling him about himself and about how she hopes that Kami Gohan don't turn out like him, and his entire friend group just starts laughing in his face about how not only does he got no motion, but he's broke now too to top it off. During the commotion, Kid Icarus comes back into the scene and does his best to get Gohan to follow him so he can come regulate for all the woodland creatures. Chi-Chi is 2 seconds away from spinning the block on him though, so he shoos his friend away to the executioner's circle to avoid getting clapped by his mom. That's when King Kai rings Goku up on the line for the lore dump, informing him that Earth's been made the latest victim of the Tree of Might, a humongous parasitic tree that sucks the life force from whatever planet is its host and turns it into a barren wasteland for the fruits of its own poisonous vegetation. Goku immediately sits up and says, "Not my neighborhood," rallying the troops to see who's with him. Goonlong is down, saying to give him a day to get his mind right, and he's right there with him. But Goku was having none of it. He said they were stopping this tree out today, and with the early Z Squad rallies to the base of the tree. Gohan puts his hands in wanting to partake, but he must have forgot who his mom is and immediately got little boyed while Goku headed out with the fellas to take care of grown folk business. When they arrive at the tree, they're immediately thrown off by the size, that's what she said, but Goku, knowing that it's always been about the motion in the ocean, tells the squad to crank one out and unload as they shoot their wads all over the base of the tree.
We'll cross the streams.
Cross the streams.
This proves ineffective though. Not even their combined strength was enough to put a dent in that monstrosity. Sensing some commotion further up, Goku and company rise to the center of the tree to find the C-list rogues gallery sitting back lounging, just waiting for them to show up. Tien immediately starts glazing the enemy as he's known to do, remarking on how powerful they are while fighting back tears.
Their power is really extraordinary. One thing is sure, they're from another world.
Yamcha's fighting off tears for a whole different reason though, thinking about how he just totaled his new whip and how he's going to be paying that thing off till Poir kicks the bucket and stances up ready for revenge. And after the falling of the first rock, the scrap begins. Tien and Chaozu hit the Testicle Brothers with the synchronized ki blast routine they had been practicing for months. At the moment of impact, the little dudes split apart and send both bozos flying into Smash Brothers continuity. Tien was pissed though and fires off a solar flare from deep, determined to get his get back. The next up, we got Big Krill taking a page out of the Future Trunks handbook and was looking to end his fight immediately, queuing up a Kienzan to wipe this fellow with the awful toupee off the earth and right into Yama's lobby. The whack job he's fighting then proceeds to start spinning like a Tasmanian devil, sending the disc flying into a nearby mountain. After peeping the destructive force of the move though, Big Fella's vibe immediately changes and you can just see this little boss son bitch trying to kill me written all over his fake hair. We then turn to Yamcha, who fires off a spirit ball, showing off the moves he learned while working part-time as air traffic control. Star Wars reject he was up against though said we eat these for breakfast and starts a high-speed barrage of attacks, ended with Yamcha literally getting forced into a dirt nap. And moments before he was in need of another revive, Goku gets ugly off his back while dealing with the pain he weighs in front of him, who shoots the ki blast thinking he's really doing something. Goku eats it, tells Big Fella he'll trade him and smashes his goon and Yamcha's for a 2-for-1 ki blast deal. One of the Testicle Bros is firing off on Chaozu, hitting him with that Macross treatment, and right before he gets flatlined, because we all know in the DBZ contracts it stated that Mind Boy is never allowed an on-screen W, Gohan enters the frame and knocks the attack off axis. Peeping that this child is awfully powerful and looks quite similar to his own lineage, Mystery Saiyan begins plotting from his master bedroom on the boy while Gohan gives the jobber that Raditz treatment and puts him to sleep with a solitary headbutt. As Gohan continues to survey the land, he bumps headfirst into something extra musty. As he looks up, he comes eye to eye with a random that looks just like his dad, but this most certainly is not his pappy. Blackheart yokes him up and gives him his patented Darth Vader speech, telling Gohan that with their combined strength, they will feast upon whatever planets they desire, and they may as well, since soon his home is going to be a dried up husk anyway. Blackheart tells Gohan his name is Turles. He is the strongest Saiyan warrior and is only willing to extend his kindness for a brief moment. Gohan calls Cap, letting him know that he's going to have to pry that title from his dad's big meaty claws. Turles tells Gohan his pops are softer than kitten fur on a velvet carpet and never bring that nonsense up around him again. As Blackheart begins losing patience and Gohan starts to panic, a hero emerges. The Orifarm Prince of Namek makes his debut, as Big Green, with a voice booming with authority, demands that Blackheart stop his antics at once and let that child alone.
Answer me. Who are you?
It's Big Green!
Let that child alone.
Turles is all too happy to oblige and throws Gohan right into Green's breadbasket. And right as the two are mid-greeting, he literally backshots my goat and sends him flying to the surface of the barren earth in seconds. Man, for once, can I please get a Big Green entrance where he doesn't immediately end up a chalk outline seconds after the Orifarm is over? Come on, man. Y'all gotta stop doing this to me. But the insane work doesn't stop there. Blackheart continuing to maintain his child abuse timing. The movie logic gets Gohan angry enough where his tail just suddenly grows out of his Piccolo-sponsored training trousers. After this nonsense happens, Turles then proceeds to pick up Gohan by the head. We're talking straight cranium and spins him around like this little fella's a basketball and he's a 1980s Harlem Globetrotters. And force feeds the kid a nice heaping helping of the moon just to bring chaos and unhappiness to the world further while he drains the planet of life. Goku peeps what's happening, but before he can make his way to his melanated twin, the goons of the week show up talking extra spicy and engulf him in a ki blast for the one time. Goku no-sells the attack though, occupies the space between the two losers and erases them with a ki blast of his own before attending to his son. Gohan at this point is going absolutely bananas and Goku can barely look at him without all the joints in his body starting to ache thinking about how he got done by Great Ape Vegeta. Goku runs and tries to talk sense into his son, but his fatherly pleas are met with only an outstanding duff to his entire body, sending him directly into a nearby tendril of the tree. One thing I gotta mention real quick though is the awesome sense of motion conveyed by the animation as Goku appears to be using brief moments of Kaioken to increase his movement speed and not get wrecked by Ape Gohan. The sense of momentum and speed is perfectly conveyed by the animation, coupled with emotion, blur lines, and it's awesome to watch. As Goku's in the middle of gearing up for a nap and letting the CTE finally settle in, Big Green reemerges to utter a single line, only to get doffed and exploded out of view in the next 7 seconds. Bro, somebody on the animation team just utterly despises my GOAT. I hate it here. Turles shoots an energy blast and sends Gohan and son falling into a chasm where Gohan proceeds to pick up his dad and play Dr. Pimple Popper, re-upping on that unsettling, unhinged jaw thing we talked about in the last film and screaming in Gohan's ear like I'd be yodeling to my girl after date night. Right before he can commit patricide, Kid Icarus flies in and suddenly Gohan regains reason. Not from the stress from almost murking his pops, but by the kawaiiness of his purple dragon friend. Can't lie, it's kind of morbidly hilarious. Uzaro's son Gohan was fully comfortable too, out here with his legs kicked up like Aubrey Graham curating his Instagram post somewhere in Canada. Turles, disgusted by how comfy Gohan's looking, decides that as much as he hates to do it, this kid is a lost cause and prepares to put him in a galactic donut. Moments before impact though, Goku reacts in time and is able to shoot a ki blast, cutting off Gohan's tail and catching him in midair before he creates a CTE situation and Gohan suddenly turns into the new villain. Goku decides that the animation budget is starting to dry up, so they need to end things. Then out of nowhere, Team Jobber spawns in, even the ones that look like they got flatlined and start knuckling up. They tell Goku just how trash his homies were, which wasn't a lie, and they proceed to spark up a 5v1 situation. Yet again, the production crew blesses us with another feast for the eyes. Just look at the beautiful display of martial skill young Goku is putting on here as he blocks and deflects his opponents, not just with raw strength, but a finesse and fluidity we just don't see anymore later in the series. God me bless the movies, man. Even if they were for brief moments, they distill down exactly what makes DBZ so amazing for many of us, and seeing Goku put on a clinic in the 5v1 never disappoints. Now, I low-key wanted to leave this part out, but I couldn't lie, y'all. Because while Goku was getting busy, Green comes in the frame yet again talking crazy to Goku Black. He gets into his Luffy bag and starts using that stretchy limb stuff he only uses in the movies when he's getting absolutely mollywopped, only doing instant Makakosapo and that gets stuffed from point blank range. Then he eats a ki blast that is way too raw of an animation for me not to give some props to, despite me being forced to watch Piccolo get lit up for the 3rd time in the past 15 minutes. At least one person is getting a breadstick on the board though when Goku activates a Kaioken and proceeds to one-shot all the jobbers in absolutely malicious fashion before gearing up with the big bad. When Goku and Turles finally hop into action, it's mad hilarious because the whole time Blacker Eye's sweating bullets and running away, he's in Goku's ear talking about how soft he is and how he's only getting lucky punches off like when your little brother starts putting hands on you and Tekken. Seeing that there's no way he's winning this without some help, Turles manages to snag a little snack as he's backing away. Goku lets him chomp on it like the galaxy brain he is sometimes, and after the boost from the Trinberry tree, proceeds to knee Goku so hard, it made me have to use the bathroom before sending him directly below and into the drain. Now here with all my heart is where I thought the turnaround was coming. I thought for sure my GOAT, seeing no other option, was going to destroy his body with a Kaioken. Turles, overwhelmed by the onslaught, will retreat. We ended with a Kamehameha or something, and we call it a movie. Well, imagine my surprise when big fella Kakarot did indeed hit that Kaioken times 20, but immediately caught multiple back shots while he was lying on the ground half conscious and caught a whole extended clip to the back before losing consciousness, and Blackarot went to go find some more Trent berries. Man, I just sat there staring at the screen like that Weebay meme from The Wire, catching my breath for a moment. But of course there's more, because after the utter destruction of Goku's butthole, his homies rise up again from beyond the grave, letting him know that he can't give up and he still has what it takes to fight Turles. And you know when you got Big Green glazing you, the situation is absolutely dire. But even this wasn't enough until Goku heard his son calling out to him. With his son's life on the line and feeling the rage of Chi-Chi already in his ear, Goku finds it in him to rise up and pull off one last gambit. shooting a spirit bomb at Goku Black to finally end the devastation while his friends were getting axe murdered. But even this didn't do it, with Turles meeting the attack head on and his ki blast winning the struggle, which then rains down on Goku, sending him further into a meathead coma. With seeing how short the runtime was, I really thought that we were about to get a bad end movie adaptation like this was a Fate Stay Night film, but the show still has some gas left in the tank. I won't lie though, the last 5 to 6 minutes of this movie had me straight lost. So we have Goku beaten and bruised, damn near on his deathbed and ready to call the Grim Reaper to pick him up. Then all of a sudden, man starts having visions of a golden orb showing up in his CTE flashbacks. And then in the next scene, we see Turles about to start his victory lap, where a beaten Goku then shows up. I promise you I heard that SpongeBob, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Clip go off in my head. Blackrock tells Goku the jig is up, fires off on him, then Goku tells him that he has the power of nature and anime on his side and shoots a beam of energy he got from God knows where directly into Turles' chest. He gets completely enveloped in the beam and is blasted all the way through the length of the Tree of Might and explodes in spectacular fashion in a nuke that can be seen from outer space. After this, the tree emits a golden light, dandruff and pollen emitted from the tree starts falling in everyone's mouths, and the deers arise from the grave and everybody wins. Man, what? It took King Kai's lecture at the end to help translate exactly what the hell I was looking at in the final half. Apparently Goku, in all of his purity, was able to resonate with the Tree of Might, took its energy, and used that to cause Goku Black to bite the big one. Goku's fearlessness and standing up to his body double somehow purified the energy in the tree, sending it back to nature and gave the whole world a revive. Pure insanity. The film ends with Goonlong nearly getting eaten by Gohan's feral dragon, and Big Green going back to his Ore Farm waterfall to hopefully reflect on why he immediately gets his ass beat every time he thinks to make a cameo in a DBZ movie. So signing off, the Tree of Might serves as a classic example of the still factors that make Dragon Ball Z a cultural phenomenon. Blackrock's ambiguous connection to Goku raises some interesting questions about Saiyan heritage, and it was packed with some beautiful animation and even some genuinely surprising moments. But what do y'all think? Does the Tree of Might hold a special place in your DBZ film memories, or does it fall short compared to the other movies in the franchise? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this review, maybe talk to me nice and hit me with a subscribe while you're at it. Be easy, y'all, and I'll catch you again in the next video. The film is a wild one. You already know you're getting yourself into some nonsense when it starts off with Gohan trying to force his step pops Big Green to watch him and his pet dragon twerk while whistling Farmer in the Dell. And this man Piccolo immediately starts losing his religion. He starts sweating, blood vessels popping, before he eventually has to yell at the kid to stop before he has one of those YouTube Catch a Predator teams knocking on his cave door.
She said she was 12.
What at first I thought was born out of trying to beat the EDP allegations, later turns out to be some epic foreshadowing, so we'll put a pin in it and keep it moving. The scene transitions and it turns out a rogue 3D model from the reboot universe found its way to the Dragon Ball continuity and was preparing to knock the Earth off axis. Goku and Krillin gear up thinking a quick Kamehameha will be able to right the situation, but turns out they didn't have enough mustard in the tank and that thing dropped faster than an American credit score directly onto the surface. As the masses converge upon the wreckage, we're taken inside the ship to see our current villains of the week. But before we can get into that can of worms, we gotta talk about the soundtrack to this film real quick, because the dub version of this movie is a whole different vibe from the original Japanese version. It's like they went directly into the MP3 player of a Midwestern kid in the early 2000s and found every piece of butt rock you can imagine. I'm not hating though. As wild as it is at first, it actually adds a weird sense of urgency and intensity to the movie. I don't hate it all. But getting back into the action, we see the baddies having a round table around KJMProductions discussing their upcoming plans. One of the disposables gets a bit too much dip on his chip and gets smoked for calling Slug an unk. Fella was disrespectful as hell about it too, talking about, hey, you know boss can't be waiting like this. Fella out here looking like Benjamin Button in his 20s and you're saying be patient? Atrocious work. No wonder he got smoked. Bigger Green then takes out another one of the losers for moving too slow on the getting Earth chromed out plan and is immediately replaced by a subordinate who promises to make it happen in 3 days if that means he can avoid a trip to the next Tupac concert. This man Slug then reaches into his candy jar full of perks and starts downing them bad boys just to feel something again while he waits for the plan to come together. Back outside, the B team begins voicing their grievances before the Slug bugs start airing out the whole crowd like this is no Russian in Call of Duty. Through the unrest, Slug peeps something that catches his eye, noticing the Dragon Ball chilling on young Gohan's head. Gohan and company start beating up the jobbers, and we even get a brief moment of Chi-Chi getting her flowers, getting a double kill before she gets snugged by a dove to the solar plexus in their movie relevance. Apparently the Molly's activated Slug's third eye, as the man shows up outside and begins brain draining Bulma for her knowledge on the Dragon Balls and the radar after she lets it slip that she has a method of finding them when Major Green was trying to run Gohan's pockets. After the quickest of montages, Slug gathered the balls and made a wish to the Eternal Dragon for youth, returning his melanin as well as access to his dental plan. Then his dastardly schemes really got set into motion, with the squad activating their weather control unit and beginning their scheme to cryo-freeze the Earth and turn it into his newest whip so he could continue being a scourge to nearby galaxies while riding on 24-inch chrome. While all this is occurring, our perspective shifts and we finally get a peep at Goku, who just respawned after he and Krillin's failed attempt at saving the Earth. Yajirobe absolutely dripped out, came through to drop off the goods, giving Goku a full heal so they could really start getting this movie underway. Yajirobe was really about to let this man Krill give up the ghost too until little fella regained consciousness and started hopping out his throat before the scene transition. I ain't mad though, considering Krilla's movie track record, they low-key would have been better served saving that for Icarus. Following this, we get the second most incomprehensible scene in this movie where Slug, after geeking off his newfound youth, just starts firing off key blasts in his throne room unprompted. He really had to have taken a critical hit off them perks. With the order to run a train on the Earth being given officially, Slug's goons begin the attack, with a lone toddler being tasked with taking on the army. Real quick, just where was Yamcha and the reserve team during all this? I feel like them fellas were still in the infirmary off of what happened in Tree of Might and decided to just let the A-listers handle this one. As Gohan was in the process of getting lit up in a 30v1, the Aura Farm Kingpin comes into frame, choking out a level 7 goon, only to throw him directly into the Sea and Soul light source and formally marking his entrance. Big Green had arrived. What I will say though is that this film did let Piccolo get his rocks off a tad more than just most Z films did, because he was really putting his matchup through it in this one. Piccolo really just spent the whole fight flexing on Dodoria's little cousin, moonwalking and smirking so much Michael Jackson might have blushed a little bit. I really knew what time it was though when Piccolo grabbed Buddy's punch and snapped his arm like he was recreating an X-ray in MK1. Insane levels of violence compared to what we usually see in these fights. Eventually, he just puts Buddy out of his misery when he drops through the ceiling while Big Fella was trying to take a hit of his inhaler and just blows the dude's head off. Gohan was out front getting busy with the freaky frog, but it all started going south quick when Buddy sicked the little homies on him and they started draining the young warrior's life force with their questionably located orifices. This is mad small, but I noticed the team reused that one frame of twitching Gohan when he got his neck turned inside out by Rakumo and Namek here in the post-game rest with the freaky frogs, and it threw me all the way off. It's just such an iconic looking moment. But we continue to ball as Piccolo arrived to the scene in an attempt to save his son from getting wiped off the map yet again. With sheer force of will, Big Green makes it just in time to hop on the grenade for son Gohan as he gets lit up like that drive-by scene in Menace to Society to protect his boy. Can't lie, they had my goat looking crazy too. They even blew his bonnet off. And right here is where the tides begin to turn, because movie Goku arrived in the scene to regulate and he went ham from moment one. He gave a single warning before hopping off the top rope and Rey Mysterio and Frogman into the nearest building. Movie Goku a real sicko. Tell me why our hero deliberately let himself eat a mouthful of Fragussi before immediately putting a hole through the Frogman's thorax, then in the same breath shoots a beam at fake Dawson's mouth and blows his head off immediately before severing the Toad's spine as Krillin watches the whole scene in horror. That's when Slug decided he didn't have the resources to be paying on unemployment for his whole rental army and stepped up to the plate directly. Then this fella Krillin for some reason just forgot how to read energy at this exact moment, rolled up on Slug and got sent to the stratosphere. I promise you can hear the Super Smash Bros. Announcer say home run if you listen real close. Now, I can't lie, this was an absolutely one-sided scrap. Slug was dumpstering this man Goku low div after coming through with the Fountain of Youth and them honey packs he was munching on. And Slug is a different animal with the Aura Farming, right up there with his other green brethren. Just check the way this fella shoulder checks this building for no reason, then starts hitting Goku with the dad puns while handing him a free case of CTE, just in his ear talking about, how about we do some window shopping? The animators want some absolutely diabolical work, giving us a good 10-second session of Goku getting wrecked in first person as he alternated between jaw and nut shots. Slug literally beat the shirt off this man, you hate to see it. Goku knew how crucial it was getting out here, so he was gearing up for a spirit bomb, but King Kai had to hit him with the reel, letting him know that there was no power to gather, big man. The Earth didn't have the facilities.
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
It was drier out there than when your girl found out you didn't subscribe to the KJMProductions YouTube channel. Then, as all hope was lost, we get some real DBZ movie magic when Slug, preparing to knock Goku's head off, gets stopped in his tracks. Kakarot channels the spirit of Broly and enters what's now being called a false Super Saiyan transformation. Goku loses his marbles and his pupils and starts delivering that work to Slug, treating him how the Eagles was doing Kansas City in the Super Bowl. Goku was out here just knocking the Sonic rings out of Slug. Even King Kai was getting nervous. But that's when desperate times call for desperate measures, with Slug doing the unthinkable, just rips his own arm off completely unprovoked. Goku's so dumbfounded by this nonsense, he loses his power boost in what has to be the most funniest transformation sequence in the whole series. Fellow was so confused by what he was looking at, he couldn't even be mad anymore. But this reveal also showcases that Slug is another Piccolo, a member of the class of Super Namekians to be exact, who were banished from their planet for their destructive ways. Slug, sensing the turning tide, gets big, McLarge huge, and starts beating the stuffing out of Kakarot, giving movie Goku that Uzaro treatment that these early DBZ films seem to love putting him through at every opportunity. And as Goku's ribs are in the midst of getting tenderized, Piccolo awakes from a slumber and gives us a free lesson in Namekian anatomy after yanking on Slug's antenna in broad daylight with the whole world watching. Slug, irritated, yokes up Piccolo, who continues with the incomprehensible plays, ripping his own ears off and tells Gohan to turn up that new Drake. I'm playing. He tells for Gohan to recall what he did at the beginning of the movie and do that same thing with Slug. Gohan was afraid to report to his BFF that he was in no state to twerk right now, but that's when he remembered the whistling and began to play a tune. Apparently that frequency of noise is pure agony to the Namekian ears, leading to critical damage on Slug. Piccolo passes the baton to Goku, giving him the last of his energy. This allows Goku to hit a Kaioken for the culture and shoot himself like a high caliber round directly through Slug's chest. Goku then takes to the sky to advocate for climate change. Turns out that flesh wound wasn't enough to take out Slug, but just in time, the sun shows itself, and fueled by the solar rays and the Disturbed soundtrack behind him, Goku gathers the energy for the Spirit Bomb, eliminating Slug and ending the film.
Not that!
The day was saved, Piccolo was no longer deaf, and as the credits roll, we're treated to a cold-ass fit check featuring Krillin, Goku, and Gohan and Roshi to round things out. And thus, homies, our time is concluded with Lord Slug. What y'all think of this film? I personally am still super curious about that whole false Super Saiyan thing and the lore on Super Namekians, but I got a feeling I'm condemned to remain blue-balled on that till the end of time. But don't blue-ball yourself for more DBZ commentary. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff because I got plenty more film coverage on the way. Be easy, y'all. Thanks for chilling with me, and I'll see you again in the next video.
Who is he? Where is he from?